Well, it's Monday, September the 2nd, which is Labor Day, and I'm heading to Calgary. I'm on the ferry right now. Got a neat bear in front of me in the back of this bus. I can't believe it, but I was going to catch the 10 o'clock ferry, and there isn't a 10 o'clock ferry, and the traffic is extremely heavy. So I can't believe they didn't have a 10 o'clock ferry. In any case, I'm on the 11, so I'll get off of here around 1 o'clock, and then I head to Poco, and that'll put me there about little after 2. I'll pick up my trailer. It's already preloaded and sitting there apparently. Then I'll have to stop in Chilliwack and get some fuel, and then I'm on my way to Calgary. Now this is another one of these crazy trips where I've only got a one-way trip, and I'm counting on CDI or Sheila or somebody to get me a trip to carry on, either further east or north or something, and eventually back to Vancouver. Poco or CDI has a lot of trouble getting trailers from Calgary down to Vancouver, so that's their goal. So they've offered to lend me a trailer again, and I've already told Sheila that I have a trailer, and she's going to try and see what she can do for getting loads for me. In any case, the weather's not too bad. It's been raining, but it's not cold. And I'm well equipped in the truck with food and clothing, so the other good thing is probably the Laidlaw scale will be closed because it's Labor Day, and that always makes me happy. I detest going through the scales, and that's pretty much it. I'll turn the camera back on when I'm on the road. So here we are off the ferry in Tsawwassen, and heading for Poco. The place where I normally park the truck there, you wouldn't believe the traffic that was parked in there, the overflow. They had them up on the banks, they had them everywhere. So anyway, weather's decent. On my way to Poco, Port Coquitlam, pick up my trailer. Head for Calgary. So I'm just crossing the Golden Ears Bridge right now, which is a toll bridge, but it's kind of a neat bridge. And it crosses over the Fraser River. Fairly neat.
1.5 miles. Keep to the right on Highway 70 Baker Ridge.
Yeah, it cost me a little over $10. I can't remember the exact amount to cross over this bridge. However, it saves me a lot of time, because the other one now, the Port Mann Bridge, is also a toll bridge. So this is the only route to go as far as I'm concerned. So here I am at Port Coquitlam, Poco as we call it, and it's the usual thing where I got to go and find my trailer. Because it's Labor Day, we just have one security guard on at the gate, and no activity going on in here. However, they said the paperwork was going to be attached to the glad hands on the trailer, and kind of a neat place for people that have never seen this kind of thing, where there's containers stacked 4 high, and I have to admit, the very first time I came here and was trying to find CDI to find my trailer, it was quite the challenge. Finding the trailer can still be quite the challenge, but All the way through here is just containers. And you can see there's actual railroad tracks right here in front of me. So there's constant freight coming in on rail. And as you can see, there's tons and tons of containers in here. But what we're looking for is not a container, we're looking for an actual trailer. So when I get down to the area where Fast Freight CDI is, that's when I'll start poking around looking for my trailer. So here's the first sign of a trailer. We got Home Hardware there. That's still not the area we're looking for. So we mosey on through here, and all these white trucks here. Oh, gotta go over the railroad tracks. All these white trucks here are CDI trucks, Canadian Drayage, and they just do local work. They don't do the over-the-road stuff like I do. So now I got to start hunting for my trailer, and I have to go around the building here. It's trailer 656 is the one I'm looking for. So who knows whether it's going to be parked out in the yard or parked at a door. I'm guessing it's going to be out in the yard, because apparently it's been ready for quite some time. So here's all the, there it is, 656, that's the one I'm looking for, parked right over there. That was kind of sneaky how I found that one. That was a fluke. So we'll go and latch onto it. And they said the paperwork was on the glad hands. Well, I'm not seeing any paperwork on the glad hands, but we'll latch onto it and see if we can figure out where the paperwork is. So the paperwork was attached to the glad hands. So I'm just going to do a walk around here before I pull up the landing gear. You can see it's a triaxle, tridem as we call them. There's 3 axles, which means generally it's a heavy load. I haven't checked the paperwork yet to see what the weight of the load is. I'm just doing a walk around for the lights. And there's a seal on the door, which is good. All the lights are good. And it's a rust bucket from Calgary, which is typical with all the salt. Just got to go back and check the suspension and make sure it's if it's air ride, that the air ride lever is up. So I'll finish my walk around and I'll put this on when I get on the road. Okay, I got my trailer, and it's 2:05 in the afternoon BC time. I'm supposed to have it in Calgary by 12 o'clock noon tomorrow. So that shouldn't be too hard. And like I suspected, because it was a tridem trailer, when I finally got the paperwork and had a look at it, it's a load from what they call Sonray, which is a company that imports rice. And it's decked out at 68,000 pounds. So this will be one of those fun trips where it's gobbles up the fuel. And I make diddly squat on these trips. So my next stop's going to be, other than getting out of here with checking out the gate, is going to be Chilliwack, take on a load of fuel. Okay, So it's 2:30 in the afternoon, and now you can see all the cameras lined up above the Golden Ears Bridge that are going to take pictures of my license plate. And that's another $10 and whatever it is to cross the bridge to keep raising the price.
1.5 miles.
And this load, as I said, is 68,000 pounds. They never had in the weight of the skids that the rice is packed on, and they're 70 pounds a piece. And I gotta get over in the other lane here. Yeah, each skid is 70 pounds. And then the weight of the Trident trailer, so I'm packing, dragging a total load of around 80,000 pounds. So it'll be fun going up to Coquihalla with this. I'm sure I'll be just booting her up there at about, maybe 20 kilometers an hour max. But and my fuel mileage will really suck. Next stop is, I said it was going to be Chilliwack to get fuel, so that's where I'm going to stop, get fuel. And maybe I'll pick up a V8 juice for some fuel for me. Well, I'm definitely heading in the right direction compared to the traffic on the opposite side of the highway here. So these people are all coming back. It's Labor Day, so I guess it's the end of their long weekend. It's fairly heavy traffic on the other side of the highway, and pretty clear sailing on this side, so I think I'll stay heading this side and head east. I do have to admit I was tricked a wee bit with this load from CDI when they were giving me a flat rate price, and I said, yeah, okay, not knowing what the weight load was going to be. And so far it's we're on pretty level ground from Poco to Chilliwack, Chilliwack, where I'm going to fuel up with get fuel. And my fuel mileage right now is 5.3 miles to the gallon. And gosh, I just ate one of my little tomatoes, and it's making me kind of burp a bit here. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm going to turn off here in about 7 miles to get fuel, and like I say, I'm sure glad I'm heading this direction, not the other direction. One awful pile of cars coming the other way. Miles and miles of them. And they're not moving all that fast. Okay, I'm leaving Chilliwack, and I got fuel for the truck and fuel for my gun. Good old V8 juice. I don't know how I survive without it in the truck. It's funny, I never drink the stuff at home. But when I'm out here on the road, it just seems to do the trick. I can get by with V8 juice and granola bars for days. And I'm still overweight. So what the hell can I do? Well, here we are coming up on the Laidlaw weigh scale just outside of Hope. And I'm pretty much betting it's going to be closed because of the Labor Day weekend. And that'll be nice because I don't have to stop and go through the scale and shift up through the gears. And also this trailer is fairly heavy, although it's licensed, I think, for the trailer I think is licensed for about 120,000, but I'm only licensed for 80,000. So we'll see what happens when we get up here to the chicken coop, as we call the weigh scales. And like I say, it's Labor Day, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to see the sign closed. Yep, there's the good it's closed. What a sad day for those guys. They can't make double, triple time and a half. Anyway, the next scale is in Kamloops, and it's what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I may actually get through that scale too when it's still closed. Time I get to Golden, the scale's going to be open, and whatever. Like I say, we'll play it by ear. I know this trailer is licensed for a lot more than my truck's licensed for. I'm only licensed for 80,000, so we'll see what happens. So here I am on the Kogahala. I'm down in 6th gear right now, and my fuel mileage average is 5 miles to the gallon, and I'm doing 20 miles an hour. And this is not the worst of it. The next part that's really bad is Box Canyon, and it's coming up ahead, so I'll just mosey on up here to Box Canyon. Weather's nice. Fuel mileage sucks. So I'll push it on through, and then from here, when I finally get to the summit of the Coke, I get a little bit of downhill heading towards Merritt. But there's lots of uphill there too, and then from there on to Kamloops. If I'm lucky, the Kamloops scale will be closed as well as the Laidlaw scale was closed. Other than that, driving's cool. I'm just listening to the radio and trying to make the best out of the trip and enjoy it. Now we're coming up to Box Canyon, the chain-up area, and it's the worst climb of the Coke for sure. And once you get through the snow shed, well, getting through the snow shed is hard enough, because that's when it starts to get real steep. And then there's quite a few miles after that you're just climbing. So if you miss a shift in that snow shed, you're pretty much screwed. You want to make sure that you go into that snow shed in the right gear for the amount of weight you're hauling. And I generally do a whole bunch of shifting down before I actually get into the shed. So when I come out the other side, I'm in the right gear to continue on, because it's a long climb after that. And my fuel mileage now is 4.4 miles to the gallon, and it's going to get worse. So here I am going through the Box Canyon snow shed, and I'm burning 0.7 gallons to the mile. So if you can imagine what that breaks out to in money, it's costing me about $5 a mile to drive up here. And it don't get much better. There are lots of trucks passing me that have got more horsepower than me, and also hauling lighter loads. But from here on, for quite a number of miles, I'm doing 20 miles an hour and burning right now 0.08 miles to the gallon. So it's like I say, it's cost me about $5 a mile right now to drive. Pretty scenery though. And if I had a newspaper, I'd take it out and read it, because at this speed there ain't much more to do. differential, the whole drivetrain is getting strained right now. It's pulling up this hill. So I'm doing 1400 RPM. There's no, I can boot her up a wee bit, but there's no point in doing it because I can't get into the next gear anyway. So I just climb this out, watch all the other trucks with more horsepower and lighter loads go past me. Still climbing out of the coke from the snow shed, and I can't believe that I'm actually catching up to another truck, a Kindersley truck, and I'm doing 20 miles an hour and burning a ton of fuel. I'm driving a Trident, so it's loaded, like I said, 80,000 plus pounds. This guy, man, I don't know what he's hauling, but he's not doing very good time. It's going to be hard to pass him because there's 3 lanes here, and everybody's using both lanes to get past me. So I'm going to sneak up on him and then pull over into the other lane because I'm not going to back off. Wow, he must be heavy. Okay, here I go. Too. It's not even a Trident. Wow. So we've made it to the summit of the Coke, and we start our downhill run from here, and then there's quite a climb out to go to Merritt. And fuel mileage is 3.9 miles to the gallon. So you figure that out. That's 3.9 miles to the U.S. gallon. Ain't it fun being in trucking? I wouldn't mind doing it if fuel was free. In any case, we're going to shoot down here now, downhill, pretty much all the way. We start to climb out on the Merritt connector, and I'll pick up a few miles per gallon average coming down here, but it's not going to be a great paying trip, that's for sure. Summit sign said right there, so I've reached the summit, and now we're going to head downhill. We had police back there saying there's an accident scene up ahead, and by the looks of the traffic backed up, I guess there's an accident scene up ahead. Caught me right in the middle of eating my peanuts. Sorry for the crunchy sound. So it looks like we're going to be settled down here for a little while. Here we sit in a traffic jam from a traffic accident just outside of Merritt. figures he's got her all Asian. People that are staying in the inside lane, so kind of hope you all get screwed. Yeah, what a pain this has been here with the traffic accident, and entertaining to see everybody's moves, including the trucks. Into the left lane, kind of figuring there would be a problem up here in the right lane. But we're actually moving now, and interesting to see the trucks and the maneuvers that have been made to get into this lane. There goes one now. See what happens. I don't know which lane is going to win, but one thing that I moved over here and I'm hanging in here, and I'm not about to be leaving, well, I always leave a big gap in front of me, but I'm not going to let some jerk pull in front of me, I can tell you that. Yeah, it was hard to get a good picture of that accident back there. It was a car turned over in the ditch and upside down just outside of Merritt. So I'm cruising into Merritt right now. Of course, with the backup of traffic from the accident, it'll be interesting climbing out of here. It's from Merritt to Kamloops. It's quite a climb up to Logan Lake, and I'm only at 4.3 miles to the gallon coming into Merritt. So it's nothing like hauling 80,000 pounds of whatever. And the crazy thing is the load gets delivered to CDI in Calgary, and then they're going to move it from Calgary up to Edmonton, because I've got the paperwork here and it shows that it's actually going to Loblaws Edmonton the following day. So I'm actually happy about that in one way, because I hate going to Loblaws. That's the one where you have to park out in the street, go get your dock number, then you take the trailer in at a specific time, and you go to the dock, back it in, unhook, then you go out and wait on the street for a couple of hours until they offload it. So it's quite a pain, and I don't miss that part of it, but it does seem really dumb that I'm bringing this thing to Calgary, and then they're going to haul it up from Calgary to Edmonton. Anyway, that's not my problem. I'm just going to take the thing to Calgary. So I'm cruising down into Merritt here, and then I got a long climb out of here heading for Kamloops. Still climbing the hill out of Merritt, heading for Kamloops. And it's kind of like this hill just never ends. You just climb and climb and climb and climb. Fuel mileage is down to 4.1. Still climbing, and you can see up ahead of me that it just keeps right on going. So the fuel mileage is just going to really suck, and I'm going to have to switch it down to another gear. So I dropped her down into 6th gear, and I'm staying away from low range so far. But these heavy loads, they do take a toll, and this hill is a long, long, long hill. And the downside of it is there is no downside of it. It goes down really steep into Kamloops, but this long climbing out really sucks. Fuel mileage now 4.1. I'm burning 1 mile to the gallon right now, or 1 gallon to the mile right now, climbing out in 6th gear. So what can I say? I'm just going to make a ton of money on this trip. It's been so fun so far. I just wished I'd pick up the newspaper so I could have something to read while I'm climbing out of here. So I've finally reached the summit. Coming out of Merritt, heading for Kamloops. Fuel consumption is now down to 3.9, so that's 3.9 miles per gallon. From Port Coquitlam to here, and from here on in it's pretty much flat or downhill. There's a few hills, but for the most part I'll pick up a few miles per gallon on the average. The next stop's going to be Inks Lake, which is a brake check area, and then about 10 miles past that is the Kamloops brake check area, as well as weigh scale. And I'm kind of thinking that they'll probably be closed because of the Labor Day weekend or whatever. All I know is I'm getting really tired of shifting gears and climbing here, because this load's damn heavy for this truck. The poor old Cummins engine here has been working its butt off. It's the temperatures, water temp's been up in the 200 plus mark all the way along. So that's not good for the engine. And to be doing this for the price I'm doing it for is actually quite crazy. But I can't just sit at home and go broke, paying $1,100 a month for insurance, so I got to get running. So I guess I'm running, or whatever you call it. And I just hope I can keep running here for another couple of months. I need a few months in the bank so I can pull it off through the winter. So here we are coming up on the Kamloops combination brake check weigh scale, and I'm hoping the scale part of it's going to be closed because of the long weekend. And we only stopped like 10 miles back for the brake check, so I'm going to do another brake check before we pull into the or go down their hill. And it certainly looks like the scale is closed. The one on the other side of the road is definitely closed. So we'll just pull in here and do our thing and then carry on. I couldn't get my camera out soon enough. Back a little bit there. There was a travel trailer flipped over on its side. But like I say, I can't get my camera out fast enough when I see these things. So I'll just play the game here, fill out my logbook, and yep, the scale is closed, so that's good news. So I'll just park this thing for the time being and carry on. I always do get quite a kick out of coming into Kamloops because they have the posted speed limit is 90 kilometers per hour for cars, but they also have it marked as 80 kilometers per hour for trucks. And then they have a sign up telling us that we can't use our Jake brakes or engine brakes, which is a total joke. So they want us to ride our brakes all the way down here, using up our air, burning up our brakes. There you go. Truck's maximum 80. I use my Jake brake coming down here all the time, and I'm going to continue to use it all the time. It's in the safety of my vehicle and other people's vehicles that I'm using my Jake brake, not using up all my air and getting my brakes hot coming down here, so that if I actually have to nail the brakes, I've got no brakes. This is the silliest thing I've ever seen. Every time you come into a small town, they have the same sign up, it's a government sign or whatever, it says, you know, do not use engine brakes. Well, I have a muffler on my truck, so my engine brake is not noisy. It doesn't sound like a machine gun going off. And I can understand it if they have these guys coming down here with their dual pipes and straight pipes. But for a truck like me, right now, hauling heavy, coming down here would be absolutely stupid for me to be using my brakes all the way down here. By the time I got to the bottom of the hill, I wouldn't have any brakes. So I'm using my Jake brake all the way down, and I would definitely be willing to challenge that in a courtroom, I'll tell you, because it's not safe. Come down here just using nothing but your air brakes, burning up all your air, or your getting your brakes hot and not having any air. So I'm coming down here in 9th gear with the Jake brake on, and that's the way to do it safely. Well, it's 6:30 in the morning, Alberta time, and the sun's starting to come up, and I certainly got sucked in on this load. It's got to be in Calgary at noon, and it's the paperwork says it's 38,000 pounds. That's 38,000 pounds of product, being the rice, not counting the skids that they're on. So because it was Labor Day, I knew all the scales were going to be closed. So I went through the scale at Kamloops, and you can always get a reading. You can get your weights. They always display on a digital display. And with the tare weight of the trailer and the rice and the pallets, this thing is over 80,000 pounds. So I'm really happy that it was Labor Day and closed, everything was closed, because I'm only licensed for 80,000 pounds. This thing is over 80. So when I get to Calgary, apparently their guys are going to haul it from Calgary to wherever it's going. I'm not sure whether it's going to Edmonton or I haven't looked at the paperwork to see where its actually final destination is. But they better be forewarned that this thing's over 80,000 pounds. And my fuel is down about 4.5 average all the way from Port Coquitlam to here. So basically I've lost money is what it comes down to. I can't make money unless I get up around, I don't know, got to be over 5, 8, up to close to 6, or I lose money. And I've definitely lost money on this one. Yeah, so I'm 52 miles outside of Calgary, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning local time. I'm going to push it up here to just before the Bragg Creek turnoff, and I'm going to have a snooze because the load has to be in Calgary at 12 noon, and I've been driving through the night, so I'm getting fairly tired, and I'm ready for a break. This is the worst fuel mileage trip I've ever done. It's probably, I don't know, the heaviest load I've ever done, I'm not sure. But I'm at averaging 4.7 miles to the gallon. So, needless to say, I'm not making much money on this trip. And if I was charging my normal rate, which would be a Tridem over 50,000 pounds, I'd be doing okay. But I kind of got tricked into this one. They just didn't tell me the weight, whatever. They just said, oh yeah, Tridem, whatever. So, kind of got myself screwed on this one. So here I am on the Bragg Creek Road heading into Calgary. And we got a wide load coming towards us that's 40 feet wide, according to the fellow I just stopped and talked to. So, I think maybe what I got to do is just basically take as much road as I can here to be safe and wait for him to go past, because there's no way going to try and pass a load coming the other way that's 40 feet wide. So I see there's other cars up ahead of me in another truck, and it's also pulled off. So I'll pull in behind this other car up ahead here and wait for this load to go by. I say it's 40 feet wide according to the fellow down the road. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's freaking unreal, I know that. Certainly wouldn't want to be the guy driving that thing. Guess it's a house, I don't know. Yeah, it is, it's a whole bloody house. Two of them. further, I'd have my trailer would be in the ditch. So here I am in Calgary, sitting at the Flying J, looking for return loads. I did get an email from Sheila. She's back from Toronto. She's going to start looking, and I'm going to be contacting this Murray that I was talking to the other day and see whether he's got a load. I have access to one of their trailers, and as you can see, I got my laptop with internet, and that's $5 for 24 hours for the internet, so I'm not going to have a second day with it. I'm just going to use it today, and that's it, because I got it last night. So that is one very unique motorhome. I've never seen one like it. It's actually got a Volvo tractor in the front, and I guess it's all specially manufactured, but that is one very different and unique motorhome. In any case, it's Thursday, the 5th of September, and I've been sitting here since Tuesday waiting for a load. At last I've got one. I leave tonight at 6 o'clock, and I go to I think there's 3 drops. One's in Cranbrook, and I'd have to look at my text message to figure out where the other ones are. And then I eventually take the empty trailer over to Kelowna and pick up a load of juice from Sunripe and bring it back to Calgary. So it's been a long wait for a load sitting here, and I'm getting a little bored with watching all the equipment go through. There's certainly a lot of very unique stuff comes through this truck stop. However, I haven't made a dime, so it's about time I got moving. I hope I can get moving at 6 o'clock when they say it's going to be ready. And the bad news is, when I get finished, I'll be back here in Calgary again. So, still looking for a load to try and get me back to Vancouver. So, who knows? I might be sitting here for another, I don't know, 3-4 days or something, just trying to get home. So, but I'm not going to bobtail home. There's no doubt about that. And at least I'm going to get paid for this trip. Good old night transport. That's where this truck came from originally. Tractor came from originally. It's a huge American company, and they trade in their trucks. I think I'm not sure if it's every 4 or 5 years. So they've now switched from Volvos to Internationals. And right across the street from where I'm sitting is this Princess Auto. It's a huge store. I've gone in and wandered around a few times. It'd be fantastic if you were, looking for equipment and, shop equipment, that kind of thing. But it's not the kind of stuff I need. Anyway, I'll turn this thing back on when I finally get a load. I got to go over and pick up some fuel before I head over there. Like I say, 6 o'clock tonight, their time, so 5 o'clock my time, and we're out of here. Yeah, so I just left CDI. The trailer's not ready. It won't be ready till around 7 o'clock tonight. So I just thought I'd actually show you a yard that's across from them, and it's hard to get a vision of just how big this yard really is. I got a car behind me, so I got to go here. Okay, at long last, I'm getting out of Calgary here, heading for Cranbrook, which is 232 miles away where I'm going. And it's quite a relief. Trailer seems like it's fairly new and decent. So I'm just looking forward to getting the heck out of here. And unfortunately, I'll be coming back here. And I'll end up sitting probably for the weekend. However, I'm out of here. I'm on my way. 6:30 at night, Thursday night. The one part I forgot to mention and take a video of is before I closed the back doors of the trailer, there was I don't know how many skids of water. Bottled water coming from Calgary, heading to the Okanagan. So go figure. Construction everywhere as usual. The one thing about doing this particular trip to the Okanagan is I get to go a completely different route than I'm normally doing all the time. So we're actually heading out of Calgary towards Black Diamond and Turner Valley. It's about 15 miles till I make a turn off onto Highway 7 West. So different for a change. Part that's not different is the continuous construction that's always going on Alberta highways, which is good, I guess. Great to see. Keeps the traffic moving. So, about time I had a little different turn of events here. Well, I haven't done much coverage of this trip. I did my Cranbrook drop, and then or the heck was the other one? I can't even remember now. Anyway, I did 3 drops, and right now I'm heading to Cranbrook was one of them, and that's where I'm heading right now from Cranbrook to. No, I went to Grand Forks after that, and now I'm heading with an empty trailer to Kelowna and to Sunripe, so I can get this thing filled up with juice, and I got to carry on once it's loaded to Calgary. Coming through the Crow's Nest Pass was quite entertaining because it seems like you just climb forever. When I started out at the bottom of the pass, my fuel mileage was 6.3 miles to the gallon, and when I got to the top, I was at 5.5.
In 2 miles,
so,
right on Highway 33.
In any case, I'm up to 5.7 now with the empty. So this is the average from the time I left. And it looks like I'm going to go through a truck wash here by the looks of the sky. I've already been through a couple of real heavy ones. So I guess this is another one coming up. Nasty weather for this time of the year. So it's 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday. So I missed my Nacho Friday. That really upsets me. Cool thing is that this trailer just gets parked in the yard at CDI. It doesn't get delivered until Monday, I don't think. So I'll go to Sicamous and I'll stop there and grab a coffee, and then I'll carry on probably to maybe Revelstoke and spend the night there. There's a great big huge place for parking in Revelstoke, and I've never seen it full yet, so that's probably where I'll spend the night, and then I'll push it through to Calgary in the morning, and that should be it. I'll be back to the Flying J where this all started, and I'll probably end up sitting there for another week. We'll see what happens. At least I got some miles out of this one, and some drop charges to go along with it. So I made a few dollars on this one after the fuel. They're all heavy loads, every one, Tridem loads, and it's almost like that's what Jerry's doing to me, is just giving me heavy loads, and probably because my price is too low. In any case, I'll take what I can get right now. Well, it's Saturday morning, and I'm 50 miles away from my yard where I'm going to drop this trailer. I spent the night last night in just east of Golden. There's quite a nice pull-out in there. I spent the night there, and it's just absolutely pouring rain here right now, which is something that Calgary really does not need, is more water dumped on it. I was surprised coming out that I could see some of the creeks and rivers and so on along the way, and they're running just like they do in the spring, with all the water, I guess, that's been dumped on the province in the last while, and it all ends up down in these creeks. So it's just pouring rain, and I'm just dragging my wagon here, and I'm going to drop it in Calgary at the yard, and then go down the Flying J and kick back. I don't know whether I'm going to have another nap or go for a shower, but it's been hard driving. This has been kind of a nasty one in a way. There was a lot of construction on Kicking Horse Pass, and climbing that hill out of field is tough when you got a full load like I've got. So maybe next week I'll get something a little lighter, or at least they can maybe find me a trip back to Vancouver. I wouldn't mind going home for a couple of days. If not, I'm going to ask them if I can get that Kelowna Rounder that they have every week, because I need the miles, that's for sure. I just can't get over the rain that's coming down now. It's coming down in sheets. Oh, it's thinning out a bit now. Wow, that was just one section I went through that was really, really bad. I'm going to pull off up here at a roadside pullout, and I'm going to probably just sit there for a while and see if this passes through, because I don't feel like driving through Calgary with this kind of rain. It's pretty nasty. Look at this. Look at this for flooding. Isn't this something? Just what Calgary needed was more flooding. Now I gotta go through it. Unreal. So who would have thought that Calgary needed a water rescue team? I guess they do after all the flooding. Totally unreal. Anyway, I'm still sitting at the Flying J, obviously, and let me back off in the zoom here. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon BC time, and I guess I'm going to be sitting here for quite a while, like a few days, but I can't get over the fuel prices right now and how much they've gone up. It's up to 121.9 for diesel, so I'm going to have to change my my rates for hauling. There's no doubt about that. I ended up on this trip, the whole round trip, with an average of 5.8 miles to the gallon, and that sucks, but there were heavy loads all the way, both directions, all the way around. So it's time I change my prices, I guess, especially when I got to sit here forever to get a load. And I know people around here that I've talked to, other drivers, they're not doing it for free. So a lot of them are actually bidding flat rates now. They're just saying, okay, it's X number of dollars from here to Calgary, or from Calgary to Vancouver, and they're not charging by the mile. So I might have to do the same thing and just say, okay, today, here's what it's going to cost you. Well, it's 7 o'clock Tuesday morning. I'm dragging the empty trailer down to Nestle's to get it filled up with water, a load of water, and it's a beautiful morning here, 7 o'clock in the morning. I just came through, dropped the first trailer off in the city of 1,000 traffic lights, Kelowna. One of these days, if I go through there, I'm going to start counting them. I'm sure there's well over 100 traffic lights from one sort of end of Kelowna before you actually get to the city of Kelowna, and then you go through the city and it's just light after light after light, and they're not synchronized. Then you get out to the other side of Kelowna in an area called West Bank, and the lights continue along there. So it's quite a nightmare. Really kicks the daylights out of fuel, because you have to keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting. In any case, it's over with, and I'm heading for Merritt right now, so I get to actually bypass the Kamloops scale. But I really have only had about half an hour's sleep when I got to Kelowna, waiting for them to open the gate. So somewhere along the line here, either in Merritt or certainly before I get to the scale at Hope, I'm going to have a snooze, because I'm going to have to make my logbook up to date, and I'm going to have a sleep, otherwise I'll be in violation of my logbook. But I'm not even sure what time I'm supposed to pick up this load of water in Chilliwack. Don't really care, actually. I'll have to phone my dispatcher and find out. Originally, he told me I was going to have to pick up the load of water at the plant in Hope. And when I got my paperwork, driver's confirmation, it shows it as Chilliwack, which is normally where I pick up water. And I really hate going to the plant in Hope, because it's a really narrow, steep road, and very hard on the equipment coming out with 60,000 pounds of water on board. So I really do hope it's changed to Chilliwack, because like I say, that's where we normally pick up loads. I have picked up loads before at the plant in Hope, and I've done it a couple of times, and I swore I would never do it again. It's just too hard on the equipment. And the previous dispatcher knew that. She always made sure that when they tried to get her to, get somebody to pick up a load from the plant, she'd just refuse it. So I hope that's the case now, because I've been kind of hurting for miles, and I didn't want to turn this trip down. But by the same token, I really don't like coming out of there. So, beautiful sunny day. Just try and enjoy it. Make the best of it, I guess. Well, I just left the Zop kiosk brake check area, where I actually crawled in the back for a little nap. So now we're going down the hill. That's the reason for the brake check. And then I found out that the load that I'm picking up is actually back at the Neste's water plant on Othello Road. So it's really nasty, and I'm not looking forward to this one bit, because it's I forget the percentage of grade. I'll turn the camera on when I get to the Othello Road and start heading down. So this is Othello Road, and I see this thing's battery power is getting low on the camera here.
Slight right on Othello Road.
I'll put it on charge when I get down to the bottom of the hill here. So here we are at Nestle's Water. This is where all the bottled water gets bottled, and it's a really tight nightmare to get into. You think of you look at the small distance there is between the trailers, and sometimes you got to back in between two trucks hooked to trailers, and it's pretty nasty because very easy to do a lot of damage in a short period of time. They give you this gadget, and hopefully you can see it on here. Yeah. What it does is you keep it in your truck, and it starts to flash and buzz and shake, and there's a number in the middle, and that number is the door number that you're supposed to go into. So apparently my appointment's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's now 20 to 1, so we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not looking forward to I'll say I had to pull in between that white and red truck there. There's not much room over here to get a swing at it, so you got to cut it really hard without hitting anything. So I said I'd never come down here again the last time I was here, and I definitely mean it this time. There's no way I'm coming down here again. So here we have a truck pulling in that's ahead of me in the queue for getting in here. So I'm just going to videotape how he's going to get in, get that trailer in there. He's going to have to stop somewhere along the line here and open the barn doors there at the back. Here comes a second truck coming in as well. Looks like he's going to get out now and open the doors on the trailer. My plan is to actually get completely lined up and straight back into the dock, and then I can pull straight ahead enough that I can get my barn doors open, then I'll just have to back up. But the reason I'm going to do it that way is because having your doors open makes your trailer about probably 8 inches wider on each side when the doors are open. So I'm just going to, like I say, I'm going to try and get my trailer in wherever it's supposed to go, and then just pull straight ahead and open the doors. Another fellow over there, he's opening his doors now as well. I can open mine right where I'm sitting, but there was an older driver once that told me, he said, if you don't have to, don't open them until it's the last minute sort of thing, where you're actually backed into the dock and you got enough room to pull ahead. Alright, here he goes. Right between the two trucks there. making it look easy. Very well done. Extremely well done. I just hope I can do as well when it's my turn. Or even half as well. Half as good. Beautiful. So I'm climbing out of Nestle's water right now, and after all those hours of waiting, I finally got a loading dock. Got into the loading dock without hitting anything, which is, like I said before, it's tight. And before they would load it, somebody was in the back of the trailer and said that they detected an odor, and they refused to load the trailer. So now I'm heading to Chilliwack. Apparently there's a place where I can get the trailer washed there on Lickman Road. Then I got to go back, and after sitting I don't know how many hours again, because I saw the trucks lined up to get in there on my way out, so this will be entertaining. I'm getting really frustrated. Yeah, I also forgot to add that by picking up the load here, I didn't have to go through the weigh scale at Hope, and it's a special brake check week, whatever, at the scales. So now I have to go through the scale both directions, and I just hope I can make it, that's all. So I'm back up in Hope at Nestle's plant again, after going to Chilliwack and getting the trailer washed. The fellow that washed the trailer said it was soap that was soaked into the wood, and no matter how much water he sprayed on it, it just kept foaming with soap. So in any case, I'm back to Hope here to see if I can get a load. It's what is it, 6:40 in the evening, Tuesday evening, and I have to weasel my way back into another dock here, which I really don't enjoy at all. And then after all this running around and stuff, I'm going to have to get fuel. There is a petrol pass in Merritt, which I've never been to. I know where the one is in Kamloops, but I'm not sure if I can make Kamloops, so we'll play it by ear from there. It's been one frustrating little trip here, and I know there's 3 open docks up ahead, because I saw 3 trucks come out, but so far we haven't moved. I was thinking I was actually going to be stuck here until tomorrow morning, but it's a beautiful evening. And there's only 1 truck ahead of me for the dock, so if everything goes right, which would be quite a change for today, the way things have gone, I'll get out of here tonight. I don't know how far I'm going to go tonight, because I've been up for quite a number of hours, and I was really lucky to get through the two passes at the scale at Hope, and the next one's going to be Kamloops, and then the one after that's going to be Golden. So if any luck at all, I'll slide through them both. I will be heavy, there's no doubt about that, 60,000 plus. So things didn't work out last night. There was 2 of us left in line at Nestle's to get loaded. The guy finally came out in the end, and he said he didn't have time to load us. So I ended up going down to the Husky truck stop and spending the night there. Now I'm heading back. He told me to come back at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm heading a little early, and I'm going to be there early. I just hope this finally works out, because this is getting kind of ridiculous. This load's supposed to deliver at midnight tonight to Sobeys, and that's just not going to happen. I'm sure there's going to be more of a screw up here. Hopefully they will load the trailer. After having it washed, it has a wooden deck in it, and after having it washed, the deck's still wet, a little damp, and they may refuse to load it because it's damp. I don't know, but I just do it when I can, and
keep to the left on Crow's Nest Highway.
Yes.
Highway 3.
I'll keep to the left. Yeah, okay. So I'll see what happens when I get there. So this was my my third try at getting this load, our trailer loaded. Their quality assurance manager still smells the soap in the trailer and refuses to load it. So that's 3 times I've tried. Now I got to go down to the Husky and wait for Jerry to contact me to let me know what to do next. Well, after all that, my trip's been canceled, and I'm heading to Port Coquitlam to drop this trailer off, and then I'm going home. And I just came through the scale at Hope, and they've got a whole pile of inspectors out there, and they've got 5 trucks already parked, so there isn't even room for me to park. And I'm empty, so obviously they don't. Weight's not the issue anyway. If they're doing inspections, it'll be probably brakes and whatever else they can find. I'm just really happy I got through it okay, and heading for Poco, and then I'm going home. Yeah, one of my favorites again, running alongside of a train. Interesting to see the trailers that are on board that, beside, other than just the cans, recognizing some of the trailer names. H&R Transport was on there, and GTX, one Maritime Ontario, but most of them are containers. So there's a TransX, and I don't know whether another TransX up there, a reefer. I don't know whether they'll obviously run these things down into Port Coquitlam and probably end up in Vancouver. Whether they're all for export or, well, other than the local ones. Maybe some of the like TransX and so on are from back east, and it's cheaper to run it on the rail and drop it in Vancouver and then have their trucks pick them up from there. It's, transportation is an amazing industry, and I know I'll never figure it out. Some of it's fun, a little bit of fun, well, maybe just a teeny bit of fun. Most of it's work, and a lot of it's just boring sitting, which is, to me, is work, because you can't just crawl in the back and go to sleep any place you want, and you end up sitting in some crazy places for a lot of hours, like I did in this trip. I spent basically a day and a half just trying to do that one load that eventually ended up being shut down just because of the soapy smell in the trailer. Cool thing is, I'm going home. I'm ready for that, for sure. But in the past, whenever I've taken a break and gone home, it takes me, or it takes them, forever to get me going again. So this time I was determined I was just going to stay out, so I was always available, and they would hopefully keep me going. But they canceled it themselves this time, and Jerry, the dispatcher, told me go home for a couple of days. So that's where I'm going. I'm so happy to see this place. Here we are at the Port Coquitlam Yard, aka Poco, and this is where I get to drop my trailer. I just got to find a hole when I get around to the CDI yard area, and find a little slot where I can drop this trailer. then I'm heading for the ferry. I think I can catch the 3 o'clock ferry. And that would sure be nice. I'd be home by 5. So I see all these containers on the trains when we're running along side by side. And the train yard's just on the other side of this yard. And of course, this track's actually coming right in here, where they can shunt these containers in. And way down at the far end is the fast freight CDI yard. So I'll poke around till I find a hole in their yard where I can drop this trailer, and then I'm heading for the ferry. I had a text message a few minutes ago from Jerry, our dispatcher, and he wanted to know if I was going to be ready to go on Monday or Tuesday if he could find a load. And I said, yes, I am. So today's Wednesday, and I'm getting home Wednesday. So I'll be home for a few days, for sure. But I do hope he's able to find a load for Monday or Tuesday, and hopefully one that's not going to cause me grief with silly things like a smelly trailer. And it's probably time I got home anyway, because I have to kind of look after my mother and make sure she's got food and everything while I'm away. And because she's 99 years old, it's a little tough leaving her alone like that when I can normally I look after her and go grocery shopping and take care of the food and so on. Anyway, we're coming up to Fast Freight Yard, and we go all the way around Fast Freight Yard to the CDI yard, where I'm going to find a slot for this trailer. I can't get over the weather. It's really, really warm. I've got the air conditioning on, and it's very warm here, which is darn nice. So we're in a CDI yard now, and just looking for a spot to park this. There's lots of spots. So I just got to go around here the other direction so I can back this thing into one of these holes here. So it'll be perfect. Oh, can't turn this one down. It's a straight drive-through. Just a straight drive in and drive out. Beauty. So after that whole trip is over, I ended up with a fuel mileage of average fuel mileage for the whole trip of 7.1 miles to the gallon. And for those of you who already know my videos, I'm always obsessed with fuel mileage because that's where my money is. Anything I save in fuel, I make money on. So I did some heavy loads and I ended up with 7.1, so that's pretty good. I'm heading for the fair.